Aloha, and thank you so much for tuning in to Trauma Recovery University for Live Q&A Monday. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and normally I would have your incredible co-host with me here tonight, Bobby Parrish, but she is in an airplane right now flying back from the UK. So welcome. If this is your very first time being here with us, I'm so excited to welcome you. And again, this is Live Q&A Monday, and who are we, and are you in the right place? If you are an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse or any type of child abuse, you're in the right place. My name is Athena Moberg, and I'm an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse and sexual exploitation. And I show up here every week with Bobby Parrish, and we answer your questions. And every week we have a different topic, and this week's topic is goal setting, or an overall wellness strategy for 2017. So welcome. I want to issue a trigger warning just in case you are a childhood trauma survivor. Normally everyone that's on this channel is a childhood trauma survivor, and the topics we talk about can be very triggering. If you are living with PTSD, complex PTSD, any type of developmental trauma, anxiety, any type of anxiety disorder, you are welcome here. I just want to issue a trigger warning. So if you happen to get triggered during the broadcast, I just want to refer you to crisis support. I am not set up for crisis support. I'm just here to answer questions. I'm healing right alongside you. I am a trauma recovery coach. I work with clients specifically who are adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse, and I'm on this journey right alongside my clients. And I'm just choosing to do it in public here with you guys. So thank you so much for being here. If you do get triggered, I would love if you would reach out to our friends at RAINN, or our friends at 1 in 6, or our friends at the Samaritans, or even the Gatehouse if you happen to be up in Canada. The numbers and the way you can reach those people. If you want to reach out to RAINN, that's the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. And that's RAINN.org. And they have an excellent live chat feature 24/7, 365 on their website. Our friends over at 1 in 6, that's 1, the number, IN, the number 6.org. That's specifically for the male community, the male survivor community. If you are a man or someone who identifies with he or him, you are a male in this community, please head over to 1in6.org if you happen to get triggered. They have a 24/7 chat feature on their website as well. If you're in the UK, you can reach out to our friends at the Samaritans over at samaritans.org. Or they have a great email feature where if you'd like to email someone, if you're in crisis, perhaps sending an email might not be the best course of action. Perhaps you'd want to reach out to someone and get immediate care. Always dial 911 if you're in the middle of a medical emergency, or if you're self-harming, or you're contemplating suicide, or if you are harming yourself or others. Please call 911, or I know in other countries it's not 911, I believe it's 999. I'm sure that our friends over on our Twitter feed will let me know who or how it is that you can reach out and receive the care that you deserve. You can reach out to the Gatehouse if you're up in Canada. If you want to email Joe over at the Samaritans, you can just simply email jo@samaritans.org. So I'll go ahead and jump into tonight's content. I really want to welcome you if you're listening on a podcast, if you're on iTunes or Stitcher or another podcast listening platform, and let you know and remind you that this is a video, and we have our very own Roku TV channel. So if you're on Roku, thank you. We love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the 5-star reviews. I think we have over 30 or almost 40 5-star reviews over on our Roku TV channel. You can simply search the channel guide for Trauma Recovery University. If you prefer YouTube, go over to youtube.com/Trauma Recovery University TV, and you can see hundreds and hundreds of hours of your questions being answered on the different topics surrounding the recovery journey for someone who is healing or recovering from childhood sexual abuse or any type of child abuse. So welcome, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. As always, every single week we have a one-page downloadable resource that will serve as a helpful resource for you or someone you know, a survivor you know, and it's free. Access to tonight's downloadable one-page PDF resource or our entire library of resources, you can simply go to one of our websites, either nomoreshameproject.com or traumarecoveryuniversity.com. And you'll find a tab, just look for a tab that says downloadables. Just click on it and look for the resource that says 2017 goal setting or wellness strategy one page. And you're free to have that, share it with anybody you know, print it out, make a notebook, make paper airplanes. It's yours, it's free. I'm really excited and happy and just blessed and honored that you've chosen to spend this hour with our community. A really quick shout out to all of our friends over on YouTube right now. There's a YouTube live chat feature. If you're showing up here live, you can go hang out with Matt and Jack and a whole bunch of our other community members. But we still have a whole bunch of people over on the Twitter feed as well. If you log on to twitter.com and just type in hashtag no more shame, and there's a conversation going on over there as well. You will be warmly welcomed in by all of our community members. And I'm just so excited if this is your first time here. And I'm really just grateful you've chosen to take this step in your recovery journey just to have a discussion, an open, honest discussion about wellness and health and mental health and just your overall wellness as a survivor. So it's an honor to be here. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and we have 3 Twitter chats per week. And this is the second of 3. So our first Twitter chat of the week is every single Monday, and it specifically was sort of put together for our UK family. Everyone over in the UK is on Greenwich Mean Time, and all of our other chats and everything else that we did live in this community were based on United States Pacific Standard Time or Daylight Time or Eastern Standard Time. And they were setting their alarms for 2 in the morning just to wake up and hang out with us. And so for any of you watching in the UK or you happen to be close to Greenwich Mean Time or on Greenwich Mean Time, on Mondays, every single Monday, 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, you can simply go to Twitter and type in the hashtag CSAQT, which stands for Childhood Sexual Abuse Question Time. And we have a new topic every single week. Our whole community is there to welcome you with open arms. And as always, you can, check out our YouTube channel, and we have private secret support groups that are virtual. And I know that we're not, like Bobby and myself are just 2 girls, and there are statistically 1 billion adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse globally. So 2 girls, 1 billion of you, and we're doing our very best to reach you, but we do so virtually. So if you feel comfortable hanging out virtually, whether that's in a virtual secret private support chat room or in a Facebook group, we would love to welcome you in. We have a zero tolerance policy for abuse of any kind, zero tolerance policy for minimization, and we only welcome in friendly people who are looking to heal alongside other people who are looking to heal. So we would love to welcome you in. We have several groups. We have one that is just females. We have one where it's co-ed and there are men and women healing together. We have one for the LGBTQ community. And we have another one for anyone who has survived narcissistic abuse. And that includes if you were raised by personality disordered parents, cluster B parents, personality disordered meaning malignantly narcissistic parents, or incredibly abusive parents. Or if you are an adult and you have been in a narcissistically abusive relationship as an adult, romantic relationship, it's a great place to go gather information and heal. You can find that, us on facebook.com/NARC Diaries, NARC Diaries. Our friend Brie Bonchet runs a great support group, also a forum actually over on Facebook, and that's facebook.com/narcopath. And she has a great blog called Relationshippedia, and that's relationshippedia.me. And you can find a ton of resources over on her website. So I believe that's all the different ways you can get connected to us. I'm so honored that you've chosen to spend this time with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Really quick, for our men out there, or anyone of you who have men in your life that are part of the mental health community, one of our community members has a weekly column over on a website called The Good Men Project, and his name's Matt, and he sort of spearheaded this project. You can find this project and support that project for free just by viewing the material, and you can find that project by searching all of your social media platforms for hashtag not weak, just human. And that's NOTWEAK, just human, JUST, human, HUMAN, not weak, just human. There are a ton of men joining in on the conversation to support other men out there who are in the mental health community and who are looking to heal. And we're just so proud of Matt and for him spearheading that project. There's a great video. If you go to youtube.com and search not weak, just human, you'll find that video, and it's also over on our live chat box on YouTube right now. If you want to go over and click on that link, or even just type in the hashtag on any social media, not weak, just human. There's a brief video. There's some brave conversations going on out there. So just hats off to you men who are standing up and standing tall and saying, hey, you know, I'm healing just like everybody else, and we could use some of your compassion and your support over here. Huge thanks to our research intern, Maggie, who does all of our research here at Trauma Recovery University. She's amazing. She's just made a move and has not had electricity or cell phone or internet. So I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but if you're here tonight, Maggie, thank you so much for all you do. And very, very, very special thank you to Jack Lumen on Twitter at JAKLUMEN. Jack and his wife, Simi, they're just huge supporters of the work we do here at Trauma Recovery University. And Jack does a Storify compile of our chats every single week. So I just want to say a very special thank you to him. And just thanks, you guys. I'm just so grateful that you all are here. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of you here tonight. Wow. Okay, well, I'm just going to jump into it. Tonight, this morning during our very first Twitter chat of the week, we had one of our newer friends, Ashley, who's a writer, a blogger, an author. She referred us to this great CBT health journal. It's a healthy living type journal or checklist on the topic of goals. And I reached out and just went over, and it's on a website called Heartful Habits, HEARTFUL habits.com. And there's a gal over there named Grace who's the author, and she's the writer for that blog. And Heartful Habits, there is a great journal over there. I'm going to do a brief screen share just to show you guys this journal. It is free. I encourage you to reach out. This is a great, great goal for 2017 to really do something that's good for your heart and good for your mental health. And CBT stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. It's a modality for anyone that's living with any type of anxiety, struggles with inner critic, struggles with a lot of trauma survivors actually really do very well with cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm a huge fan of dialectical behavior therapy as well. I'm going to do a screen share just to take you over to Grace's blog and show you heartfulhabits.com and show you this awesome free journal that you can get. I hope you all can see that. So this is a wellness journal. You can reach out to Grace Eves over on Twitter at Grace YVES. Subscribe to Grace's blog at heartfulhabits.com, or you can search Instagram for hashtag Heartful Habits, and there are 200 to 300 posts, and you can follow Grace over on Instagram as well. That's hashtag Heartful Habits, HEARTFUL Habits, habits. And so here I have a wellness journal. There are some great quotes. We're starting the day off with some affirmations, telling ourselves something kind and encouraging, making it specific and in the present tense. I love this. This right here was the key for me. This sold me on the whole thing. What are my unhealthy thinking styles that I struggle with on a daily basis? Do I have all or nothing thinking? Do I have some sort of a distorted mental filter? Am I jumping to conclusions? Do I have emotional reasoning? Am I labeling? Am I labeling myself or others? Or am I labeling my tasks or the thoughts that I have? Am I overly generalizing? Overgeneralization is huge, sort of lumping. It's that black and white thinking. It's very similar to all or nothing overgeneralization, like kind of just sticking a label on something, like sticking everybody in the same little pile. Disqualifying the positive. Sometimes when we struggle with living a mentally healthy life for whatever reason, whether it's due to childhood sexual abuse, any type of trauma, sometimes when people come up with, they say something positive to us, or they say, have a great day, or something, we instantly, we move into that category of what I call the must be nicers. I have a large family, blood relatives, filled with must be nicers. And the must be nicers, what they usually say to you, whenever you say, hey, I accomplished this goal, I took this test and I got a great grade on my test, or I'm getting a promotion at work, or I went to the doctor and my physical came back, or my blood sugar's in check, or you know what, I had a lot less pain today than I normally have, or you know, I went on that 30-minute walk today like I've been planning to do, and you get really excited about it. And the must be nicers, what they say is, well, must be nice. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to do that today. It must be nice to be you. Everything must be positive and great for you. Must be nice. And, you know, not everybody's a must be nicer, but we all have people in our lives who are part of the must be nicers. And I have myself fallen into the must be nicer, which would be natural because I come from a long line of must be nicers. And so what must be nicers do is, if you tell them, well, I hope you have a great day, or I hope you have a good a day as possible, you know, as good a day as you can possibly have. I hope you have a day like that. And they'll just automatically disqualify anything positive that you have to say to them, because they have 12 reasons why your positivity wouldn't work for them. So while I am a realist and I know that everybody else's positive attitude sometimes isn't the best thing for me, I don't want to disqualify everything positive, because then I'll never be able to move from a place of struggling to a place of beyond surviving or thriving, or I'll never be able to get out of that rut. So sometimes we need to challenge our thinking if we're stuck in negative thinking, and we need to ask ourselves, gosh, was I disqualifying all positive things today? This is a trap that I can fall into sometimes. So that's why I'm spending a lot of time on that one particular point. The next unhealthy thinking style that Grace mentions in her free wellness journal is catastrophizing. I catastrophize a lot. I think of the worst possible scenario, or if one bad thing goes wrong in the morning. I remember I used to say something when I was raising my son, and I've apologized to him like 12 times about this, and he always says, no, Mom, I don't even remember that, which is amazing to me. Maybe he'll remember it when he's like 30 or 40. But if one thing would go wrong in the morning, I would say, oh, great, now our whole day is ruined. The whole day is ruined now because one thing went wrong in the morning. And, you know, I had to call myself out on that and just really be honest with myself and say, wow, you know what? The whole day isn't ruined. One thing went wrong. It's not the whole thing. I just got a tweet. You all are asking me if I have a link to this journal. I do. You can go up here. You guys go up here to go up here to heartfulhabits.com and then go over to a section that says free printables or free things. I forget. And you'll just click on the thing that says, would you like this wellness journal? Just click on it. Super awesome. So the next unhealthy thinking style is should statements. Are we shoulding ourselves all over the place? I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Gosh, I should have eaten better today. I should have done this. I should have done that. Or you should. Like, we're starting to should other people all over the place. Sometimes I find myself shoulding myself. And then personalization, when we take everything personal. You know, sometimes people are just having a rough day or they're going through something and it has nothing to do with us. So I have to be mindful if I'm personalizing everything. I can really get stuck in this one. I'm moving down to the next section of this free wellness journal by Grace Eves over at heartfulhabits.com. Challenge your unhealthy thoughts by assuming the best in yourself and others. Write an alternative interpretation. Now, what I like to do on this particular area here is, like, if I was stuck in one of these types of unhealthy thinking styles here, I want to go down here and I want to challenge the unhealthy thoughts that I was having. I want to challenge those unhealthy thinking styles, and I want to write an alternative interpretation of how I could possibly, if I was stuck in one of these, I want to come down here and I want to write an alternative to how I could possibly handle that here in this area. And then I'm going to move over here. This has been huge for me, you guys. I only accessed this journal today, but I had something similar that I had implemented at the beginning of the year last year. I never followed through the whole year, but there's a moment of honesty for you. But yeah, but this has been huge. This has been huge. I wish I would have followed through with my gratitude journal at the beginning of the year. Listing a few things you're grateful for every single day is huge, and it's been known to help with depression. That includes clinical depression. I don't have a link to the research, but if Maggie is live here, there's some sort of Harvard Medical Review article about how gratitude can change our mindsets and can help us with struggles that we have. And there's links to gratitude and clinical depression. I believe it's Harvard, or maybe it's some Yale review. It's some Ivy League medical review that linked gratitude to helping with clinical depression. It was fascinating. So I highly recommend this, listing 3 things that you're grateful for. I'm moving down. Isn't this neat? The brain and the heart right here. Isn't this so cool, you guys? What an interesting and awesome logo, right? The brain and the heart. Heartful habits. So page 2 here, unhealthy thinking styles. Now here is a list of the unhealthy thinking styles that we get caught up, like up here. Which ones? Which ones are we stuck in? If you want examples of all or nothing, mental filters, et cetera, you're going to come down here to page 2. And here's an example of what those are. If you are stuck in all or nothing thinking, overgeneralization, mental filter, disqualifying the positives, jumping to conclusions, catastrophizing, emotional reasonings, should statements, labeling, and personalization. Now, you guys, I think this is a simple thing that we could possibly implement in 2017 and really see some benefits. So shout out to Grace. I don't know you personally, but a gal, Ashley, in our community recommended this journal, and I just give it, 100 thumbs up if I had 100 thumbs, which I would look really funny if I did, but I give it 2 thumbs up, you guys. And I'm just super excited I don't really know Grace personally or anything. I decided to follow her on Instagram and follow her on social media and subscribe to her blog, which I did today. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for just the positive things that are going to come out of that in my 2017. So I'm going to hop over just super quick, and I'm going to check and see if there are any questions that I can answer, since this is Q&A Monday. Normally I would have someone sending me these questions and Bobby would be here. Ashley, you're so sweet for sending me that link. Thank you so much, Ashley. Why didn't I get, oh, Ashley, my last name is Moberg, not Morberg. It's Moberg. That's why I'm not getting your tweets. Thank you, Ashley. You guys, Ashley used the hashtag No More Shame, and she gave us a link to that Harvard medical review on gratitude helping with clinical depression. So thank you, Ashley. Yes, Dominique says Tony Robbins is a great resource. Yes, he has good morning routines. I agree, Dominique. Hey, Derek. Hi, Derek. As a cup half empty thinker, this form could be very helpful in challenging my unhealthy thinking styles. I totally agree, Derek. I know. I'm not normally like a cup half empty thinker, but what I end up doing is I get overwhelmed. I'm easily overwhelmed. I get all of these things happening at once, and then I'm like, I freeze because I'm overwhelmed. And then I'm just, so I think the form would really help me if I kept it in front. Shelby says, I'm guilty of shoulding. Me too. And Matt says, I'm right with you, Shelby. I should myself all over the place. I wrote about it too. It's a daily struggle, but I'm working on it. You're awesome, Matt. It's Heartful Habits, you guys. HEARTFUL habits.com. Heartful habits.com. And her name is Grace. Tell her that everybody, tell her Athena says hi. Or, our community. Say hi from our community over to her. Matt says he catastrophizes. He's guilty of that. Let's see. Ashley says, hey, that's my wonderful printable I found. Yes, you're the one that pointed me to it. Okay, I don't see any questions, you guys. If you guys have any questions for me. Oh my gosh, hi, Beth. I missed you, Beth. It's so good to see you and your puppy. Hi, Heather. Hi, Simi. Hi, August. Hi, Kalisha. Hi, Jody. Hi, Shelby. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Dominique. You guys are so amazing. Hi, Jack. Rar, it's Laura. Hi, Laura. I'm so excited. Okay, there's no questions. You know what I'm going to do, you guys? I am going to go over to our one page, which if you remember, I don't know if you all remember this, but it was either last year, if you guys have been on our channel since we started it. We started this channel 2.5 years ago. Oh my gosh, it'll be 3 years this coming August. And I went and I looked at our 2 years ago, we did goal setting, and I got a couple of really good quotes from that, and then I added some others from some research that I got. So what I'll do is I'll do a screen share for our one page, which is it includes some great quotes and tips from our previous goal setting, and then it also includes I'm hoping you all can see this. I hope you can see if you guys can see the one page, I'm having issues with my screen share. It's giving me a little bit of an error. It should say, it should look like our normal one page. It'll say goal setting and 2017 wellness strategy one page. If you all can see that, would you just let me know? Hey, Sharon. It's so good to see you, Sharon. I'm glad you survived your holidays, honey. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and go on hoping that you all can see this. I'm going to read this for those of our friends that are listening on a podcast. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give you guys always have complete free access to this one page and our entire library, and you can always get access to our one page downloadable resources by going to nomoreshameproject.com or traumarecoveryuniversity.com. Just look for a tab that says downloadables and click on it, and just look for the one page that says goal setting and 2017 wellness strategy one page, and you're in the right place. And again, you can have that for free. You can print it, put it in a notebook, refer it to someone. Anybody that you know who is an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse, any type of child abuse, who gets overwhelmed easily, who struggles with goals, struggles with overall wellness, who's a member of our mental health community, and just would love just some great helpful information, and they don't feel like they are receiving the support they need. Like maybe they just want to feel like they're a part of a community and that they're not lone rangering this, then please share this with them and let them know that they can reach out to us anytime. You can email me over on at the project that I'm doing. It's called No More Shame Project, and you can email me at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com if you have topic suggestions for our weekly Q&As, or if you just have questions, or if you just need support, please email and let me know, okay? I'm going to read this now for those of you who are driving and it's not safe for you to be reading this. 2017 is almost here. While January provides a common pause for resolutions or goal setting in our Western world, sometimes the holiday season can be a painful or difficult time for adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. For survivors, I like to remind us, myself and my clients, I'm talking to myself here, you guys, and my clients, that goal setting can occur any time, January, March, or any month that we choose. As we decide when to contemplate our recovery focus for 2017, let us remember to be kind to ourselves and patient during periods of added stress. Holidays are famous for anxiety attacks and meltdowns. Another great reminder for survivors is while we may have been powerless against our abusers or life circumstances which facilitated our trauma, we are now adults with the ability to establish and maintain healthy interpersonal boundaries. I'm going to pause right there. You guys, when we were children and we were being abused by whomever it was that abused us, we didn't have the ability to say, no, don't do that. I'm going to tell, or I'm going to make sure you go to prison, or I'm going to run away, or I'm going to get you in trouble. You're not allowed to touch me. You better get away from me right now. I'm going to kick you. I'm going to poke you. I'm going to harm you. I'm going to run away. You know, some of us we just freeze. We froze at the time. And then we were too afraid to say anything because maybe we were afraid someone wouldn't believe us, or we tried to tell and no one believed us, or we were made fun of, or we were just plain afraid of everything, afraid of our abuser, afraid of telling, afraid of not telling, afraid of our bodies, afraid of our thoughts, afraid of our siblings, afraid of everything, just afraid. But guess what? We're adults now. And those habits of being afraid, or those natural trauma responses, which can be to freeze or to run away or to yell or to fight, or even to try to reason and make sense of it all. Those are natural trauma responses, but we're adults now and we're removed from our abuse, hopefully, unless we are still in touch with our abusers, at which point I would love for you to view our video on the topic of boundaries. Oh my goodness. Let's do our best to have some healthy boundaries. So I just want to encourage you guys that, you know, we're adults now and we have the power. We have the power to choose. We get to choose who we can hang out with, who can hang out with us, who we talk to, who's allowed to contact us, who's allowed to text us, who do we decide we want to respond to, who do we call, who do we decide not to answer their phone call. We're adults now and we get to choose. We don't have to put up with people who are verbally, physically, sexually, or otherwise abusive toward us. And I just want to encourage you that if nobody else in the whole world supports your choice to stand up for yourself, I do. I am right here. Reach out to me, Athena@athenamoberg.com. Email me at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com. You have one person in the whole world right here who supports you and it wants to encourage you to set some healthy interpersonal boundaries. I will cheer you on. I will be the captain of your cheerleading squad. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. Setting healthy boundaries is so hard, and I will be here to support you. I'm going to move on now on our one page to this area here where it's a great quote right here. Hopefully you could see this. I'm trying to just highlight the quote only. There we go. It's a great quote by our very own Bobby Parrish. Your recovery is yours to manage, control, and guide. No one knows what you need better than you do. You are your own expert. Grab a hold of that power and set recovery goals for yourself. And that's a great quote by Bobby Parrish, you guys. I can't stress enough how much I want to encourage you to choose to set some recovery goals for yourself that are manageable and that won't overwhelm you. I'm moving along now to the pink lettering that says, while setting goals either this week or next spring, consider these best practices. Now, I said this week or next spring because, you don't have to set goals this week. Just because the whole Western world decides they're going to do New Year's resolutions, again, you don't have to do a New Year's resolution. You can choose to set your goals whenever you want, but I do recommend setting goals. And how would you set goals? This is how I would recommend you set goals. Number 1, put it in writing. Write your goals down. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so helpful right here. Write your goals down and place them in an area which you can easily view on a daily basis. Every single time I write my goals down and I make them like somewhere where I can see it and I remember it, whether it's on a Post-it note on my wall or on a list or on a calendar, or I have a reminder that pops up on my phone, I end up reaching that goal or reassessing that goal. I either reach the goal or I reassess the goal. And we could talk about reassessing goals on another video if you want, because sometimes we have to reassess, like that was a lofty goal and maybe it wasn't attainable, or maybe it wasn't measurable, maybe it wasn't manageable, But when I write them down, I have a much higher possibility of reaching that goal or of reassessing it and then making it more attainable. So I highly recommend writing down your goals. Bullet point number 2, be specific. Rather than saying, I'm going to sleep more in 2017, say something along the lines of, I will go to bed by 10 p.m. each night. Why? Because vague goals make it hard to declare that you have been successful. And vague goals lead to vague action. So if I simply were to say, hey everybody, you all are going to hold me accountable. I'm going to show up here every single week, every Monday to do live Q&A with you. And I'm so excited. And in 2017, I'm going to sleep more. And I might not even remember that I made that goal if I don't first write it down. And then if I don't second, if I'm not more specific, like what do you mean I'm going to sleep more? Like, am I going to sleep an hour more? Or, it's very good to be specific in our goals. So if you all are holding me accountable, like, hey, Athena, did you sleep good last night? Did you sleep more last night? I might not even be able to answer you because I might be overwhelmed with the rest of my day or something. But if you were to be able to say something like, hey, I remember, Athena, that you had mentioned that you wanted to go to bed by 10 p.m. each night. How's that going for you? And I can think quickly and go, you know what? I've actually been doing pretty good with that goal. I didn't even realize that I was reaching my goal. Thanks for reminding me of that. And that way, it's more specific, so I can measure it. Bullet point number 3, which by the way, that's not really my goal. This here, I'm usually in bed earlier. I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock. At least I try, because I've been needing more sleep lately. I've had a little bit more stress in my life, and so I've been trying to sleep a little bit more and get to bed a little bit earlier. And I'm not a night owl. I'm definitely a morning person. I'm my freshest in the early morning. I'm not very fresh at nighttime. So bullet point number 3, set yourself up for success. Setting small goals are a great way to set yourself up for success. Here's a great example. I will spend 10 minutes a day journaling. That is much more attainable than I will journal for an hour a day. It may seem like very little progress now, but you can set a series of goals which take you to that 1 hour by the end of the year. But if you jump directly to the 1 hour goal, it may be hard to attain. And goal failure, this is great. This was mentioned by Simi at Wave Mistress during our chat this morning. And she was mentioning that goal failure can be really shame-inducing. So right here on our one page, we mentioned that goal failure can be a vicious, self-reinforcing cycle that your mind uses to prove that you have little to no value. We can really shame ourselves if we don't reach our goals, you guys. And so if we set ourselves up for success by making our goals smaller and more attainable, like sometimes my to-do list, like literally, this is like confession session. I need to make a hashtag confession session. My son and I used to do confession session when he was younger. He would go, okay, mom, confession session time. So here we go, hashtag confession session. You guys, sometimes my to-do list has every single thing on it, starting from the moment I wake up. Even the things that you would think would be second nature, because sometimes if my executive functioning is messed up, because I live with permanent brain damage as a result of the abuse that I incurred from the time that I was very, very, very young until I was a young adult. And I'm telling you, sometimes I can barely manage to do just the very basic things. So here we go, hashtag confession session. My to-do list looks something like this if my executive functioning is not working. My list will start off with make the coffee, drink enough water, brush your teeth, shower or at least, clean up or wash up, eat. I have to remind myself to eat because I'll forget. I'll get working and I'll totally forget to eat. My list will contain to take my vitamin supplements. My list will contain to take small breaks in between my tasks. And then I'll have a little spot on my to-do list. It'll say chunks of time ? And what that means is, am I managing chunks of time or am I managing tasks? If my executive functioning is not working very well, if I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed for some reason, then if I'm managing tasks rather than chunks of time, then I will likely not reach my goals and I will not complete my tasks because I will begin to dissociate. I will be in the middle of a task and I will end up dissociating. And then I will end up shaming myself for dissociating. So rather than managing tasks when my executive functioning is acting up, what I'll do is I'll manage chunks of time. So I will put a reminder in my calendar, like if I have chunks of time ? On my to-do list, I will go. Yes, Matt says the Pomodoro app. Yes, you guys, look in the App Store or in the Google Play, for Pomodoro, Pomodoro. I recommend that app to my clients all the time, and it really helps, and it will organize your time for you. It manages chunks of time for you. I use the Pomodoro app whenever I'm writing, if I'm trying to publish a book. Like every single time I've only written 2 books of my own. I'm working on my 3rd one, but both books, I use the Pomodoro app so that I manage chunks of time. So like I was saying, if my executive functioning is something that I'm struggling with that day, I will put reminders in my phone to work for 45 minutes straight and then take a 15-minute break, or work for 50 minutes straight and take a 10-minute break, or work for 1 hour and take a 10-minute break and then work for 50 minutes, etc., etc., etc. If I try to manage my tasks, I won't finish them, and then I'll shame myself, and it will be really, really, really hard for me to pull myself out of that funk. So set yourself up for success. I'm moving down to the 4th bullet point now. Spread the love. Do not set goals in only one area of your recovery, such as relationships. Instead, try focusing on every aspect of your recovery: relationships, emotional health, spiritual disciplines, physical health, and behaviors. Your recovery needs to be well-rounded in order for you to experience the life you deserve. For this to happen, your recovery goals need to be varied in their focus. Now, perhaps I'll give you an example of this. So let me see here. Here are the areas that we recommend that you focus on in your recovery: relationships, emotional health, spiritual disciplines, physical self, and behaviors. I will give you my example for this if I'm looking at my recovery goals. So here we go. 2017, my relationship goals. I want to have a deeper, more meaningful relationship with my husband with healthier communication. So I would write down, like maybe a daily goal would be asking, like intentionally making sure that I send my husband a text or give him a quick phone call and ask him how he's doing, just so he knows he's loved and that I'm thinking of him and that I'm praying for him. So that's a relationship goal, like broken down from year to, and then to daily. Emotional health. My emotional health goals for like my mental and emotional health in 2017 are to switch my insurance over from Kaiser to HMSA so that I can go to this one particular gal that was referred to me who does EMDR. I really want to go through another spurt of EMDR. For those of you who don't know what EMDR is, Harriet, if you could please pop up a thumbnail for the EMDR video, that would be super helpful. EMDR is excellent for anyone who is a trauma survivor. It stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and it has really, 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 really helped me personally. I have some areas in my life that I want to work through, so I want to switch my insurance over in the year of 2017 so that I can eventually sign up to become a client of this gal who does EMDR, and she takes HMSA. She doesn't take Kaiser. So that's my 2017 goal. Now, on a daily basis, my emotional health, like for me to be emotionally and mentally healthy, I'm going through a DBT workbook. I go through this workbook with my clients quite often. Several clients, not all of my clients are going through this workbook, but I recommend this workbook and I'm going through it as well. So on a daily basis, my emotional health goal would be something like, I would like to spend 15 minutes a day in my DBT workbook so that by the end of the year I complete it. So the next section is spiritual disciplines. This is one of my favorite ones because it's made the most lasting difference in my own personal life. I'm not shoving my spiritual beliefs down your throat whatsoever. Excuse me, I need to take a sip of water. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Spiritual discipline. So I'm not shoving my spiritual beliefs down your throat. Please, whatever your spirituality is, I just highly encourage you to include that in your recovery goals for the year. And then, of course, for the month, and then for the week, and then for the day. So like my daily spiritual disciplines are as follows. So after I wake up and I make the coffee and I make sure that I'm drinking water, et cetera, I have some quiet time. I usually spend about 15 to 30 minutes. I wake up early if I have to. Like on early mornings, like on Mondays when I have CSAQT, I have to wake up in the 5 o'clock hour in order to be ready for CSAQT because I want to be prepared. So in order for me to stay in line with my spiritual disciplines, I wake up in the 5 o'clock hour and I have some quiet time for about 30 minutes where I read a daily devotional, and I read one proverb a day out of the book of Proverbs in the Bible. I have a couple of blogs I subscribe to that are spiritual blogs. I have a couple of authors that I really love to read. They have great spiritual writings. Our pastor writes some really cool books that I like to read. I also enjoy, I really do also enjoy, like Dominique was mentioning, I love Tony Robbins. He's awesome. I also love Brendon Burchard, and you could find him at brendon.com. That's BRENDON.com. He is awesome. And I also love Marie Forleo. If you happen to be entrepreneurial in spirit and you have a goal of, either launching a business or you own your own business or you just want to be a little bit more focused, Marie Forleo is amazing. And she's not just for women, by the way. It's Marie, M-A-R-I-E, Forleo, Forleo.com. And she has great videos. Like once a week, she'll record a video. And again, that's not spiritual, but those are just some things I love to do. I also have a daily prayer time. I love to be in an attitude of prayer throughout the day, but I usually start the morning off with I'm praying prayers of gratitude. I'm grateful for the air I'm breathing. I'm grateful for this day, this life. I'm grateful that I have a relationship with God and that I feel loved by him and I feel accepted by him. And, you know, not everybody has the same spiritual beliefs, but whatever your spiritual beliefs are, rock them. Rock those spiritual beliefs and include them in your recovery goals. You will not be sorry. The next one is physical self. My physical self goals for 2017 are to lose 20 pounds. I'm really excited about this particular goal because I feel like I'll feel better in my clothes. I think I'll look better. And I don't want to be too like focused on like my physical appearance, and that'll lead to eating disorder behaviors for me because I lived with an eating disorder for so many years. But in a healthy way, I do think that if I were to lose 20 pounds, I feel like I would feel healthier. Now, the doctor didn't tell me that I need to lose 20 pounds, but I didn't ask. So maybe the doctor would have said, yes, as a matter of fact, that would be a good idea. I went and got my physicals and all of my checkups, and I am the healthiest I have ever been as of 2016. I'm super, super stoked about that. But so physical self, lose 20 pounds. What would that look like on a daily basis? I think that would, again, that goes back to, am I drinking enough water? Am I taking my vitamin supplements? Am I eating enough green vegetables? Am I being mindful? Am I eating mindfully? This is a big one for me. I do mindless eating. I won't even realize I'm eating. Like, and I don't always eat when I'm hungry. Like, I'll just eat because my husband's eating. So I want to be mindful when I'm eating, and I want to enjoy the food I prepare rather than just mindless eating. And then behaviors. This is a big one right here. Behaviors. Oh my goodness. So in order for us to really reach our recovery goals as an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse, we need to look at our behaviors. Now, for me, in 2016, I decided to stop drinking alcohol, not because I think alcohol is bad and alcohol is the devil and it's just bad, and like I'm having like flashbacks of that movie Waterboy. Alcohol is the devil, Bobby Boucher. But I don't think that alcohol is necessarily bad when consumed in moderation. But I noticed for me that it was mindless. Again, like it just became like my husband sat down to have a glass of wine, so I would sit down to have a glass of wine. And if we're all being honest, I was using alcohol to numb stuff or avoid the issues that I was dealing with in my family of origin. And so in order to sort of take that option off the table, I stopped drinking alcohol in 2016, and it's been pretty awesome. I don't really miss it at all. Like I shared a glass of Prosecco as like, you know, as like a celebratory moment. I shared a glass of champagne. I had a glass of champagne with my colleague Brie Bonchet to celebrate the publishing of her book. I had a glass of champagne to celebrate the publishing of my book. I had a glass of Prosecco with my husband on Christmas Eve. We were sitting by the fire and it was just awesome. But like, I don't know. I just don't, other than that, like on like a special occasion, I don't really have more than like a half a glass of wine or like a few sips or one drink. Like it's just kind of my thing. So for 2017, I think for my behaviors, like, do I have any other types of addictions or things that I'm leaning on, or that are just things that I could possibly cut out, that are things that are not serving my overall wellness? And I'd probably say for me personally, it goes along with physical. Like these two go together for me because my behaviors, I haven't really been exercising very much, and I want to exercise more. So as far as my behaviors go and my physical self, I think I'd like to start walking more often. So I'm moving up here to this being specific one, right? And I don't want to just say I want to be more active. I want to try to say like, I will walk for X amount of minutes per day, etc. Like I'm not sure how many minutes I want to walk, but I want to walk more as part of my behaviors in 2017. Your recovery needs to be well-rounded in order for you to experience the life you deserve. For this to happen, your recovery goals need to be varied in their focus. So hopefully breaking those down was helpful for you guys. The very last bullet point here, community is key. Tap into your support team for their help in setting goals. Your therapist, psychiatrist, coach, safe loved ones, support group members, and close friends can be an excellent resource in helping you both identify areas which need your focus and write specific, measurable goals. So community is so awesome. That's what you guys are here. I mean, you guys are my family. You guys are my community, and I just love being here with you guys. So I'm moving down here to the pink lettering that says, here are some helpful examples of recovery goals. And these were taken from our one page that we did a couple of years ago on goal setting. And I think that they're really helpful. So I just copied and pasted them. So if this looks familiar to some of you, that's why. I'm going to read through them for those of our members of our audience that happen to be driving right now and it's not safe for them to read. Bullet point number 1, I will attend therapy or coaching sessions once a week. Bullet point number 2, I will walk on my treadmill 1 hour a day, 3 days a week. Bullet point number 3, instead of isolating, when I feel sad, I will call one of my friends and tell him or her how I am feeling. Bullet point number 4, every day I will tell my spouse one thing I need from them that day, and I will ask them to tell me one thing they need from me. Bullet point number 5, I will set healthy boundaries with one toxic person every month. That's 12 for the whole year. Can you imagine what life would be like with 12 fewer toxic people? OMG. Okay, the last bullet point, I will get involved in a support group. And then here is what the asterisks are talking about right here. Being in community, hopefully I can get all, there we go. Being in community with others who have lived your pain will help you to feel stronger and less ashamed. We have free organized virtual safe support groups where you can practice new life and relationship skills and become adept at creating healthy habits. Ask us about getting plugged into a free online safe support group for survivors by clicking here. Now, if you are logged on to our one page, this link is clickable and it will take you over to the section of our YouTube channel that is the About section, and it will walk you through an easy 4-step process on how to get plugged into Safe Community if you click there. To get access to this free one-page downloadable resource, you can simply go to one of our websites, either NoMoreShameProject.com or TraumaRecoveryUniversity.com, and look for a tab that says Downloadables. Look for the downloadable. Once you get access to the whole library, it'll be almost instantaneous. You'll click it, you'll enter your email, it'll just take you there and give you immediate access. You'll look for the resource that says Goal Setting and 2017 Wellness Strategy one page. And when you click on it, it will look like this. And that's free for you or for anyone that you know that is an adult survivor of child abuse. And you can share it, email it, print it, do whatever you like with it. It's free. It will always, always, always be free. And I hope that was helpful for you guys. So I'm just going to check really super, excuse me. I'm losing my voice, you guys. Sorry. Oh my goodness. For those of you listening, I'm sorry because I just needed to drink some water. So I'm just going to check the Twitter stream really quick if there are any questions from you guys that I can answer on the topic of goal setting or overall wellness strategies for trauma survivors. Also, I highly recommend talking with your therapist or your psychiatrist or your coach about goals that that they believe would be healthy goals for you. Like, definitely don't just take our word for it and do what we're telling you to do, because we're not, I mean, unless we're your coach, but I mean, you probably have a support team in place that are able to help you with your goals. And I would love for you to ask them what they think about that. Hey guys, I'm going to retweet this. Simi just got done writing a post on goal setting. I'm retweeting it now. You can find her blog at wavemistress.wordpress.com. and she just wrote a post. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm assuming it's awesome because Simi's awesome. And check out her blog post. Um, hey, hey, Kalisha said, oh, she went and found the Pomodoro app. Thanks so much, Kalisha. The Pomodoro app is awesome for managing blocks of time, which I highly recommend. Super awesome. Let's see here. At Psychology Today, you can put in your insurance and trauma specialist, and they will give you a list. Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Thank you, Dawn. I'm retweeting that. Let's see. I am too afraid EMDR wouldn't work. Trina, I felt the same way. You know, no one can tell you how to feel and tell you that your fears are real or not real. That's a very real fear. I'm just telling you, it's a real fear. I was afraid the EMDR wouldn't work also. I was really hesitant about it. I didn't understand like the whole like bilateral movement. Like some therapists use tapping, which is not the same tapping. It's not EFT tapping. It's different. And some therapists use paddles. Some therapists use a little light that you follow the light with your eyes. But it's natural to be scared, Trina. I was scared too. I can't tell you not to be scared because being scared is super duper natural. And all I can tell you is that it worked awesome for me. I had fewer blocks. I had fewer triggers. The triggers I did have were less intense. I have some situations in my life, some stuck points that I just can't get past. And that's why I want to go do some EMDR, because I really think that like working on those specific areas will really, really, really help me, like in my marriage and in my business. And I have some money blocks. I had some like exploitation aspects of my child abuse when I was younger. And so I'm pretty sure that's where my money blocks come from. That, and I was raised in a household where my family was more lower to middle class, and I think they believed through their actions and through their words that people who had money were like, they said bad words about those people that had money. So like subconsciously I thought like money equals bad people or something. So like I have these subconscious blocks with regards to money, and it really keeps me stuck. And so I'm going to work through those with EMDR, and I'm looking forward to that. So try it out if you want, Trina, or if you have some questions. I recommend doing some research because, man, it was so helpful. In fact, interestingly, I started studying to get my EMDR certification, and I still have the textbook, and I just never followed through and flew to go to the workshop and do the practical hours to get my EMDR certification. But it was a goal of mine, and for some reason I never reached that goal, probably because I went through a whole nother wave of my recovery, and it just knocked me down. So I never completed that goal. And it might be time, maybe 2018, for me to reassess that goal. I have a different professional goal that I have set for me for my certification for 2017, which is regarding internal family systems, IFS, which is recommended by Bessel van der Kolk. So Bessel van der Kolk. I always say his name wrong, sorry. But yeah, so maybe 2018 I might get my EMDR certification. I'm not certain, but I'm trying to see if there are any more questions. There's some, Shy Sharon says that she's going to lose 50 pounds. She lost 88 pounds in 2016, and she's going to lose 50 more. Oh my gosh, Sharon, high five. Wow. Oh my gosh, maybe I need to ask you to hold me accountable. Izanu says, I was using alcohol leading up to visiting my boyfriend, and now I'm overeating. You know, I was doing the same exact thing. You're not alone. I want to stay, focused on that. I really want to have healthier physical habits. So JJ Strong says, struggling with setting small goals. It is so hard to see the progress. I agree. I totally agree. I struggle with that. But when I write them down and if I really hold myself accountable, like on a daily basis, I find that I'm reaching those smaller goals. And then the more I reach those smaller goals, they build up to the big goals. And I end up feeling like, wow, I did it. Like I end up reaching my bigger goals. So I hope that helps. Like you're not the only one for sure, JJ. Like that, it's just it can be so hard. Like it's not just easy. Like the whole goal setting thing is not easy. Everybody glosses over, like not everybody. There I am generalization, overgeneralizing. A lot of people gloss over the goal thing as though it's something super easy, and like, oh yeah, it's time to set some goals. And like, sometimes there are people that struggle with goals. Like if they're, especially if they grew up in a certain environment where, maybe if it was like a militaristic sort of like family unit or even a family unit where like goals were not something that were accepted or even talked about or embraced. So yeah, you're definitely not alone. Our community really will embrace you if you like say, hey, like I'd like to set some goals, like maybe in one of our groups or something. Even Matt says this community helps with that. Yeah, I think it does. Um, let's see. Oh, my mason jar koozie was made by our very own Christy Q. She has an Etsy shop called Love Jungle Crochet, and she made this for me, and it has my initial on it, has an A, and I love it so much. Thank you so much for noticing, Dawn. She made that for me, and she also makes jewelry, which I bought myself a piece of her jewelry for my birthday, and it's beautiful. It's a treasured sort of charm necklace, and it's just beautiful. Everything's handmade. It's just amazing. Trina says, how do you know if you're making proofread on your goals? Sometimes we can't see, maybe she says progress. Maybe it means progress. How do you know if you're making progress on your goals? Sometimes we can't see progress. For me, I think if I get my bigger goal, Trina, and I break it down into smaller goals that I know will reach that goal, like if I want to lose 20 pounds, then I break down like 20 divided by 365. And then I look at, what that is, or like 20 divided by 12, which is like, less than 2 pounds a month. So how am I going to lose 2 pounds a month? Right. It's a little bit more measurable. Like I try to, I personally, I don't know if this works for anybody else. So if this doesn't work for you, please disregard it. But I love to reverse engineer my goals. It makes me so happy. I take the big goal and then I reverse engineer and I go, what do I have to do to lead up to that? Boom, 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 boom. And I know Matt and I, when we were working on a website project together, we reverse engineered that goal. We're like, okay, this is the goal. We want it to look like this and we want it to do these things. And so in order to reach that goal, we have to do this, and this. And it worked. And sometimes spreadsheets are super helpful. Matt is good at spreadsheets and I am not. So I hope that was helpful, Trina. Shelby says, setting goals are tough as a survivor. I don't know where to start. Trying to really reflect and celebrate any successes I have. Celebrating our successes is a super huge part of goal setting. Simi at Wave Mistress said something this morning that I need to make like a meme or something. Jack, I need a sanity sign for this. Calling Jack Lumen, calling Jack. Hello. I need you to make a sanity sign for those tweets that Simi did this morning. Oh my gosh. Super, super amazing. What she said was, you need to put like a reward system in place. So like if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, then each of your little milestone goals is 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound, or like when you get to 5 pounds and then when you get to 7 pounds, when you get to 10 pounds, that there's a reward system in place. Like each pound you lose, reward yourself, whether that's like, you get to go to the movies or you get to buy your favorite fragrance or like a bath bomb so that you can have like bubble bath or like scented candles or something like putting a reward system in place for goals that is like many little rewards leading up to the big goal. Multiple little rewards leading up to the big goal. That is huge. That is hugely, hugely productive. And it works. It's successful. That is a tried and true method of reaching goals. So Shelby, I hope that helps. And Jack, I hope that you will make a sanity sign somehow about what your wife said, because it was amazing. And I agree. Matt says, you're doing amazing, Shelby, in case you need a reminder. Shelby, I'm not 100% certain the details of it all, but I am sure you are doing amazing. I believe that you're doing amazing. I believe it. By faith, I believe you're doing amazing. So there, you have another remind me. Oh, Jack says gratitude was a game changer. Gratitude, writing out your gratitudes, game changer. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Matt says there's some comments and questions on the YouTube chat. Oh, I need to look for those. Oh, Simi says we need to keep our goal list short. Less of a chance of feeling overwhelmed. Yes, yes, yes. I totally agree. Yes, of course we need to proofread, Jack, but sometimes we don't proofread. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we skip it. Oh, you know why I'm not getting Matt's messages? Because I'm not over where I'm supposed to be. I'm so sorry, you guys. Crud. Okay. Thank you very much to Matt, because he's been monitoring things for me and I completely spaced and missed it. Dang it. I should have written down that goal. Here we go. Questions. Hey, it's Deborah's first time. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Deborah Herendine. Welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. We're so blessed to have you. Let's see. Kathy Bobathy says, I see my ability to organize my environment as a sign of healing. Yes, Kathy. Oh my gosh. Yes. If you can organize your environment and keep it organized, it is kind of a sign of healing. Because what does my husband say? Like an outer disorganization reflects an inner chaos. Like sometimes, I can only speak for myself. It's not that way for other people. But if I'm in the middle of building a project, like building a website or something, then my outer environment in my office is not a reflection of inner chaos. But if I'm not working on a project and I'm just doing my normal day-to-day stuff and I have a disorganized office area, which it's really disorganized right now, which is why you guys are only looking at this little corner of my office. Oh my gosh. But it is a reflection of an inner chaos. So, yes, Kathy, yes, 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 yes. If I can keep my office organized, then I tend to feel more at peace, but it's a struggle to keep my office organized. And I've been doing house projects and my office has sort of been a catch-all and it's been kind of stressful. So, but I agree with you, Kathy Bobathy. And she says, it's really hard to make plans when one feels unstable. I totally agree. And Young at Heart says, I'm looking forward to saying goodbye to 2016. Hell to the yeah, girlfriend. Oh my gosh. Seriously? I'm done with 2016. Super done. Not wanting to stick around any longer. I'm very much ready for a new year. I agree, Young at Heart. And Surviving My Past, Matt says, I find being organized very therapeutic. Yes, it does feel really therapeutic when you're organized. You're just like, look at it, look how everything looks. It looks so awesome. I agree. Actually, it is a must for me. Setting goals, though, very, and I can't see the word, but I'm assuming he's saying very difficult. Oh, Sharon says, I have a difficult time setting boundaries. Yes. Setting boundaries is something that does not come naturally to adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse, because our boundaries were violated at a very young age in very personal ways. And so oftentimes we were afraid to set boundaries because we weren't allowed to. And so it's almost like learned helplessness. Like we weren't able to set that boundary, obviously, because our boundaries were being bulldozed. We were being violated. And so kind of like that meme that we see on the internet sometimes of like the elephant, it's a baby elephant and it has the little chain around its ankle and it's like to this little pole or whatever, but then there's like a grown elephant with the chain around its ankle, and it's like a piece of plastic lawn furniture, but it still stays there because it's so used to staying stuck. So like boundaries for me are the same. Like in my mind, like I'm so used to not setting that boundary, or I'm just so used to accepting that person's dysfunctional, rude behavior. Like when my dad was still alive, he liked to call me names. It was just his way. Like he was just being quote unquote playful. But like he would call me names like fat, ugly, stupid, clumsy, ugly. And he would make fun of me a lot. And I didn't realize that it was beating me down emotionally and causing me to feel really horrible about myself. And it really took its toll on my psyche. And so establishing a healthy boundary with my father was very, very, very difficult because I was a grown ass woman in my 30s, mid to late 30s. And I was like trying so hard to say, Daddy, can you please not say those things to me? It's so hurtful. And he wouldn't respect that boundary. And so finally I just had to draw a line in the sand and say, you're not welcome like in my home if you're going to speak to me that way. I'm sorry. You can leave. Like I just can't function when you're calling me ugly and fat and stupid and dumb and clumsy, and it's just hurtful, and I walk around feeling ugly and fat and stupid and dumb and clumsy, and you're just a bully and it's not nice. And so that was really hard for me to do. I mean, when my father passed away, I spent the last 16 days of his life with him, but it was stressful. Like he was in a coma, and like he woke up a couple of times and he could hear me, but he couldn't communicate, and he could hear my son talking on a speakerphone from China. But like it was just really, really painful. Like setting boundaries, Sharon, is something that is very counterintuitive to abuse survivors. And so I want to encourage you to surround yourself with people who are setting healthy boundaries in their lives, so that when you reflect to them your boundaries being crossed and you say, is this healthy or is this normal? Then they, being people who are establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries in their life, can say, well, it doesn't sound healthy because when I established this healthy boundary in my life, this was the response, and this is how I, kind of like hashtag boundary goals. Like a lot of us have very, very, very firm boundaries with some of our toxic family members or family in our family of origin. And so like others that don't have those goals yet are like, wow, that's my goal. That's my boundary goal. I want to have little to no contact with the abusive people in my life and not feel shitty about it, and not feel like I'm the bad daughter or the bad niece or the bad cousin or the bad family member or the black sheep, whatever. And a lot of times our focus just needs to shift just a tiny, tiny bit, and we become more heavily vested in our own mental and emotional well-being and less concerned about what other people that are toxic think of us. And it's so hard to make that shift. It's not easy. I say it like it's just so simple. Like, oh, it's just a mental shift. And, we start to care less about what other people think of us. And so we establish those healthy boundaries, and they think we're horrible, but we care less. We don't even mind that they think we're horrible. Like I say it like it's so easy. It's not easy. Like the guilty gremlins, as we call them, right? Like those voices in our heads are like telling us that we're horrible and we're mean and we're awful because we're not allowing people to stomp on us like they have their whole entire lives. But, Sharon, surrounding yourself with people who are actively establishing and maintaining healthy interpersonal boundaries is the best thing you could possibly do, Sharon. So I hope that helps. August says, I've been working really hard in therapy, and I was told recently by a close friend that I am not even trying. August, how do you describe close friend? Who's this friend? With friends like that, you don't even need enemies. August, I've known you for over a year, maybe closer to 2 years. I'm trying to remember when I first met you, August, but I would disagree with your close friend and say that you are trying. I've gotten to know you and I think you're trying. So that's just my opinion, my humble opinion. Oh my gosh. Wow. That really makes me angry right now, August. Wow. That makes me so angry right now. I feel very angry on behalf of August, who's being told by her friends that she's not even trying when I happen to know how hard she is working. Wow. Okay. Deborah Herendine. I'm so sorry, Deborah. I'm butchering your last name so poorly. Wow. I'm really sorry. Your name is awesome and it matters, and so do you. And I want to say it correctly. Deborah Herendine. I hope I said it right. Deborah Herendine says, I am just finishing DBT, and then it was suggested to do CPT for PTSD. Do you think EMDR or CPT is better for complex post-traumatic stress disorder and DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, due to child abuse? I would say personally, EMDR is amazing for people that are living with CPTSD, in my opinion, but DBT is like, you're finishing that, and that's just that. Like, I've done EMDR and I've done DBT and I've done CBT, but I've never done CPT. So I don't know enough about CPT to tell you that it's better than EMDR or not. I just know that EMDR for me is awesome, and it's really helped me rewire, and like, grass is growing over the old roads and the old responses, and I have new roads that go to different areas, and I don't go in the same direction anymore. So for me, EMDR is awesome, and I am living with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and I tick all the boxes. So I don't know enough about CPT to tell you that it's better or worse than EMDR, but I am a huge fan of EMDR. I would do your due diligence and wait till you have a piece about what it is that you want to move forward and try. That's what I would do, Deborah, for sure. You're your own best advocate, and you're the one that knows yourself the best. So look into both, and look at the details of both and what they involve and how long they take, and the practitioners in your area or whoever it is that you're going to see, if it's virtual or if it's in person, whatever, and then make that educated choice and get as many opinions as you need before you jump into something. That's what I would say, Deborah, because you're worth it. Yeah. Sorry it took me so long to get these. You guys, you sent those questions like half an hour ago, and I just barely got them. So thank you for your participation tonight. Thank you for, let's see. Oh, Jack's going to make the sanity sign. Woo woo. Yeah, we need a sanity sign for that. That reward system is something that's going to be super awesome for our peeps. Let's see. Oh, Kathy Bobathi says, trauma in infancy really disrupts self-feeding in adulthood. Yes, it does. I am a childhood trauma survivor in infancy. In fact, my very first tooth was punctured through my lip. My car seat apparently flipped over and I was just laying there. And then my paternal grandmother spilt hot coffee on me on purpose when I was a baby, just for funsies, because, that's just my awesome family. And I really struggle with food. I just have a very distorted relationship with food. So yes, Kathy, big, big, big. Feeding ourselves does not come natural to survivors of neglect in infancy. This is also true. I've read up on this. Trauma seems to erase earlier developmental stages somehow, like you have to do them over again as an adult. I don't have enough information to say yes, that statement's totally true or not, but I have read about trauma in infancy and food, like food issues and feeding ourselves, especially if there was neglect in infancy. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm not sure about trauma erasing earlier developmental stages, but honestly, it makes sense. I mean, seriously, it affects our executive functioning. It affects everything. So I'm about out of time, you guys. Heather says, learning to break down a goal is a skill. Totally agree. Retweet. Yes, you know what? Izanu says that this is, she relates, and yeah, I'm retweeting that for sure. Don't be afraid to seek help if it is hard to do, meaning goal setting. You guys, don't be afraid to start looking up goal setting and like reaching out for help. There are so many free resources, and just being in a group of people that is dedicated to reaching their goals, like setting a goal and reaching it, like just the very act of choosing to be involved in a community of people who are like-minded or goal-minded is a huge step. simply making the mental shift to choose to be involved in a community of people who are like-minded and goal-minded is a huge step. If you're making that choice and you're deciding to move in that direction, that's huge, huge, huge. Give yourself a reward somehow. Oh my gosh. Dang it. Yeah. Yes. Just, you guys, this goal setting thing is not easy. Like, seriously, like, I wish that I would have addressed this earlier on in this YouTube channel. I know that we did a goal setting video. It was like 30 minutes long, or I forget how many minutes long it was, and we addressed it like 1 or 2 years ago. But you guys, goal setting is so huge. It's huge in our business. It's huge in our relationships. It's huge in just our personal disciplines, our spiritual disciplines. It's huge for food and for, you know, the way that the relationship we have with food. It's just huge. Yes, yes, yes. And it's a skill. Goal setting is a skill. What Heather said is so true. Oh, you're so welcome, Shelby. Yay, you're so welcome. Oh, Matt says that he must be organized. Clutter equals chaos equals stress. Yes. Organization is key. Okay, I'm chuckling, Jack. I'm chuckling. Ashley says, I want someone else to organize for me. I need an assistant. Yes, I have an assistant, but I haven't delegated my tasks to her so that she can organize me, which I need to. I'm horrible at delegating. It's almost like I'm afraid to delegate, like people are going to say no, or I'm going to be a bother. So I'm with you, Ashley. And I wish I had a 5-year-old, because I would try to train them for sure. Dawn says she understands about being called names. I'm sorry you understand that. It's really painful. It's horrible. Really, really horrible. Ashley says, setting boundaries is totally on my goal list for 2017. It's a must for me, and it definitely feels super unnatural and awkward. Yes, 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 Ashley, it does not come naturally. Setting goals does not come naturally. Boundaries. Setting boundaries does not come naturally. For some of us, setting goals doesn't come naturally. But setting boundaries does not come naturally if you are an adult survivor of childhood abuse, especially childhood sexual abuse. Just, if you come from a toxic family of origin where healthy boundaries were not established, maintained, and respected, then it feels awkward, and we shame ourselves and we guilt ourselves, and we have all these voices in our head telling us that we're horrible people. Please, please, please get involved in some of our communities where people are setting healthy boundaries and maintaining them. Sometimes setting the healthy boundary is like the easy part, and then maintaining it over time is like the hardest part, Ashley, but you're not alone, and I'm so stoked that you're here. Hey, thanks, Jack, for tweeting out that financial abuse video. Thank you. Cool. Thanks, Jack. You guys are so awesome. And Shy Sharon just tweeted out something here that is it's a great Christian outlook on trafficking humans. I have been following International Justice Mission, IJM, for quite some time, and my son used to do fundraisers for them. They had a fundraiser with these little yellow cups, kind of like the color of my pillows, like the accent color in my office here, these little yellow cups, and on them they said loose change, like quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, and other forms of, change. Loose change to loosen chains, like loosen the chains of trafficking on humans. And he would go around, him and all of the kids in his youth group would collect change. And his youth group alone collected, I want to say close to like $20,000. Just people were so like wanting to be involved with what they were doing. So thank you so much, Sharon, for tweeting that out. Matt, you rock. I'm looking forward to next week also. And Destiny says, EMDR keeps coming up. Something I developed being abused or after crying was rolling my eyes in the back of my head. Scary. Oh no. I don't know what that means. I hope that I didn't make you cry, or if I scared you. Destiny. I'm not sure. I think I need to read that again. Anyway, if I scared you or something, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just been really helpful for me in my journey. I really like it. It really helps. So, erasure of early development does sound like another way to describe executive functioning issues. You know what, Dominique? I want to do some research on that. I'm going to retweet that. Yes, yes, yes. I want to look into that because it does sound like it's connected to executive functioning, and I'm excited to learn more. So, Izanu says, my family frequently calls me the nutcase. Very discrediting. Wow, it is a very discrediting name, and I happen to know you, and I would not say that you're a nutcase. I would say you're a pretty amazing human, and that really makes me angry and pisses me off right now that your family is calling you that. Jack says, nuts are good, like hazelnuts. Jack's awfully punchy tonight. I love it. Okay, guys, that's it for me. It's been 90 minutes. Thanks for choosing to spend 90 minutes here on your recovery journey. And whoever out there is telling you that you're not trying or that you're not doing enough in your recovery journey, they obviously don't know, because I am here every single week, and I'm here with you guys every single week. And I see how many of you are here. There are a lot of you still here, and it's 90 minutes later. So I just hope that you'll be kind to yourself, please. And anyone who is being unkind to you, or they are stressing you out, or they're pressuring you, you're not doing enough, you're not setting enough goals, you're not making enough progress in your recovery, you're the nutcase, or you're fat, ugly, stupid, dumb, clumsy, whatever. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries in 2017 is an excellent, excellent goal. And if you are interested in that goal, or if you're just looking to be involved with some incredible humans, please go to the About section of our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/Trauma Recovery University TV, and just follow the 4-step process and get plugged into a safe group. Please, 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 please. It's free, totally free. All you got to do is reach out and follow the instructions that are there. It's the easiest way. You can email us at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com, and you can get complimentary access to the downloadable one-page resource that we shared today on the topic of goal setting and wellness strategies for 2017 by going to nomoreshameproject.com or traumarecoveryuniversity.com and finding a tab that says downloadables. You click it, you get immediate access to tonight's downloadable resource and the entire library, and you can share it with anybody you know who is an adult survivor of childhood abuse, childhood sexual abuse, any type of child abuse. And I'm just so grateful that you chose to be here. 90 minutes is a super long time, and I'm very, very grateful for each of you. So I'm Athena Moberg, and I love bringing you everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. And I have some amazing, new, awesome things happening in 2017, and I can't wait to just be on this journey with you. So be good to yourselves this week. Please be kind to yourselves, and I will see you. I'm trying to say, am I saying I'll see you next year? What is the date today? Today is yes, I'll see you next year, you guys. I'll see you next year here on Trauma Recovery University TV. And this has been live Q&A, and I'm Athena Moberg, and thank you so much for being here. Have a safe and happy New Year's, you guys. Bye.